Welcome back to another canny ass video. Growing up, I always remember having school assemblies. And I feel like no matter what country you're from, every school has some type of school assembly, right? Whether it was elementary school or middle school or high school, they were always a thing I just remembered happening at school. And honestly, I kind of looked up to the days when they would happen. There was just some type of feeling that we don't get today in the air when there was a school assembly that was gonna happen that day. The school's PA system coming on and letting everyone know that there's an assembly today just hit so different for me. We got to leave our shitty classes, so it was automatically a banger. And at my school specifically, I always remember niggas not knowing if we were having one exactly on that day, because it was never fully pinpointed if we were having a school assembly on that day or not. My school literally made it so only the teachers knew exactly when we were having one. I have no clue why it was formatted like that at my school, because kids started treating rumors about if there's a school assembly on that day like they were government files, guarded by the FBI and Secret Service or some shit. Yo, did you hear the news? I heard there might be a school assembly tomorrow, my nigga. Oh my god, what the fuck? Shut the fuck up. Better get me caught, dumbass. Like, I have zero clue why people took it so serious. But in reality, no one was excited because anyone wanted to go to that shit and actually learn something. Because that's the whole point of a school assembly, right? If we actually go to the Google definition, it's exactly defined as this. A school assembly is a gathering of all or part of school for purposes such as school programs, special or communicating information. Man, shut the fuck up! The real ones went to school assemblies not to learn something. I mean, imagine trying to learn something and becoming a well-educated person in school. You'll probably have a prosperous career and be able to provide for your family. The fuck is wrong with you? Look, everyone, and laugh at this nigga. The real ones went to school assemblies to spend time away from your fucking classes and hang out with your homies, of course. Or if I was not in that type of mood, because I always wouldn't be in that type of mood, I would just go to the assemblies and crouch under my seat while watching YouTube videos or movies. And when I say that was a challenge for me, I had to use school Wi-Fi to watch those videos, baby. 1 megabyte upload speed never felt so ass, because my parents literally didn't give me phone service until I got my first job. So I had no choice but to use the shitty Wi-Fi. It was a true struggle going through the day and using school Wi-Fi only to communicate with people. Shit was ass. I had to watch all my videos in 360p doo-doo quality. And of course, everything was nearly blocked at my school. Like, what's up with schools doing that? I get you need to block websites like the Hub or Valorant.com to prevent people from becoming bad human beings. But I couldn't even go to cool math games in my school without a VPN. Like, VPNs were hella goated for me and what they did to save my sanity in school. And that's why this video is actually sponsored by Atlas VPN. My first sponsor, I know, right guys? In this day of the internet, no one treats internet privacy as important as it should be. So by getting a VPN, specifically Atlas VPN is a tool that helps encrypt your data and hide your location. When you connect to a VPN service, it makes all of your internet traffic travel through an encrypted tunnel. And once the internet traffic gets to that VPN server, the server decrypts information and permits the rest of the traffic back to you. And right now, you can get 3 years of Atlas VPN for just $1.83 a month. That's like the same price of a McChicken, come on now. What's cool is they also have a data breach monitor as well. It allows you to track if any data breaches have happened recently to accounts relating with your email. It scans these scummy leaked databases to inform you if any of your personal information has been leaked. You know, personal info like passwords and things like that. It will also let you know before anyone else can get access to it. It's available literally everywhere. iPhone, Android, Mac, and PCs. Except on flip phones, but why do you have a flip phone in 2022? All jokes aside, right now Atlas VPN is running a great deal with their 3-year plan. $1.83 a month for 3 years, including 3 months free with that as well, no charge. And they also have a 30-day money-back guarantee. This deal won't last forever, so definitely check it out. Make sure to click the link in the description below, and let's get back to the video. Going back to talking about it, school assemblies were kind of goofy in the aspect of what they wanted to actually accomplish. Like, it kind of sucked because going through them every year got more and more serious, which kind of made me not care about them eventually. Because back when I was in elementary school, school assemblies were 10 times more fun than they were in high school. The school assemblies when I was a kid usually consisted of some type of guest speaker. They either had some type of talent to them, which was cool, or were some unknown person that we were supposed to think is famous or something. Either way, it was fun because they would do their act and talk to us, usually have some type of generic message we've heard a million times, like don't do drug kids or don't drink. And after some type of lesson, we would just get some snacks and do the Cupid shuffle. In reality, no kid really retained any information from these. And I don't know if this was just my school, but we used to have fun-only assemblies. What happened to that shit? It was days where you literally didn't do shit at the assembly and just did things for fun. Like this one time I remember we had an assembly in elementary school. And in the assembly, it was just for fun. Like it was literally us just making cotton candy for that assembly. So they randomly assigned each teacher to a table to manage the machine and the kids. But of course, my table got stuck with the bitchiest teacher in the school. I knew this because everyone hated her, even including the teachers. No one in school truly liked her. And she didn't even like kids. So why are you working at a fucking elementary school then? Anyways, we continued on and we got one of those cotton candy sticks. I have no clue what they're called. You got to spin it around the cotton candy machine and coil it around. It was a pretty fun assembly. But I remember they gave us these bags to put the cotton candy in after, which were extremely small bags that could barely fit on your head. And being the well-made to be future comedian I was becoming, I joked with the kids at the table and put the bag around my head. I literally have zero clue why I did this. Like, I think the teachers thought I was trying to suffocate myself. And all I know is the teacher actually caught me doing it and thought I was trying to suffocate myself, and influenced the other kids to do it as well. She must have thought I was Jeffrey Dahmer or some shit. I was 7 years old and I had zero clue what I was doing. So when I say she was a bitch for this reason. At the end of the assembly, all the classes lined up to go back to class, and I'm at the very back of the line of every single class. So she decided to call me out in front of all the other kids, and I had to walk down the hallway while they were just all staring at me, and I was just crying my eyes out. So I really just wanted to dedicate a part of this video to say fuck you to her. I'm a petty ass nigga and I still hope she's doing bad. Moving back to what I was talking about, we would also have an assembly where we would do workouts with an instructor, but in reality it wasn't that. They would play some song like Teach Me on a Dougie or the Cha-Cha Slide, and we would just all be dancing, just breaking down on the goddamn dance floor. My point is, assemblies used to be hella fun, but then after elementary school, assemblies became super dry. We had to actually learn important shit for the future. Like, no one cares about that. And even though the assemblies after elementary school were mostly PSA things, you know, they really pushed PSAs like don't do drugs to kids. But it's funny because this was the time when most kids actually started doing drugs. I would see kids vaping in the bathroom stalls all the time. Like, maybe if you kept assemblies fun in the first place, they wouldn't have done that. Have you ever thought of that? Instead of hitting the vape, they could have been hitting the Dougie. Then getting to high school is when assemblies hit the dog shit area for me. At this point, no one really cared about them anymore. The only good thing about an assembly was leaving your class and meeting up with friends. Specifically at my school, it was even funnier because when they would call all the kids to an assembly, about 3/4 of the school would actually go to it, and then 1/4 of the school would just use it as time to leave the campus. Some kids would just take their car and fucking leave. So when the assembly would end and we all had to go back to class, the teacher would call names again to make sure everyone came back, and on every occasion, 3 to 5 people would just be missing from the class. They either ran on foot and dipped like Tarzan or took their car and dipped off. I don't even blame them though, because assemblies would be boring as hell. They just push the same message every time like we haven't heard it a million times already. And I'm not saying that's a problem repeating the same information, that's important to us, but it would always just be in a boring ass way. It would be in a way where the adults would try to make it and cater to kids, and it just didn't work. And I remember they would always start every one of these assemblies with a girl singing the national anthem. It can't just be my school, right? Like, tell me this happened to you guys too. For my school, it would always be the same girl and she'd just be singing her ass off. Like, I don't know why, but she just took that shit too serious. It's not even like it was bad singing, and I expected her to go far in her career. Now she does OnlyFans. Meanwhile, everyone wouldn't even stand when she was singing it. So while she was singing her ass off like a knife was to her throat, half the niggas wouldn't even care. They wouldn't stand up for the national anthem, or they would just be sitting down and being on their phones. And then usually we have the guest speaker or presentation that we were supposed to think is important. And once again, it was always the same message, just pushed in a horrible way, trying to clearly cater to us. You know, it was like the don't do drug kids, or, you know, stay away from the vape. But it's funny to me because, like I said, if kids were already dabbling into drugs in middle school, they were now going full force when we were in high school, which is the time where they shoved anti-drug PSAs down our fucking throats. So it really made no sense to me. When there was a poster on every single wall telling kids not to do drugs and that didn't work, then I knew society was over at that point. I knew our generation had no chance. Then you can't forget about the performances they would actually have at the shows. At every school, they always have some type of performance at the assembly. They would give you some generic PSA message, then the next thing you know, you're seeing someone do a fucking dance on the stage. I don't think that helps much with the message. My school in particular took this so serious for some reason. We had like some type of dance group that would throw full-on performances at our school. It was a full dance group of girls and a couple of guys. And you would think they were headlining an actual fucking concert the way they were moving. It was taken way too serious. It was also super weird because they would do a lot of inappropriate things on the stage for some reason as dances. Like, it would be dancing but consist of them grinding on the floor and stuff. And sometimes the parents would actually show up to the assemblies. So they would just be in the crowd watching these girls act like this. Imagine seeing your daughter act like that at an assembly in a high school. We got to the point where the principal had to tell the group to tone it down or they were getting removed as a club. Then I also remember teachers always being on the sidelines. I knew assemblies were pointless once I saw the teachers waiting on the sidelines and waiting for the shit to be done too. They would either be on their laptop or phones not even knowing what's going on, or just whispering to each other and not even paying attention. But in the midst of this, they would also tell people to be quiet as well for some reason. Like, nigga, you don't even care about this, so why should you care that I'm not paying attention to it? And as I grew older, I also remember assemblies being more marketed. Like, when did that become a thing? Sometimes speakers would only come to like sell their product to kids. I remember there specifically two being a yo-yo guy at my school, and he came in and did his yo-yo tricks, and they were actually pretty cool. He also had his own brand of yo-yos or something, I don't know. The point is, he actually sold out his yo-yos to a bunch of kids. So in my classes, a bunch of kids just had yo-yos and had zero clues how to actually use them. We also had an assembly one time, and it was to promote a fundraiser for my senior class. We had to sell this like chocolate to raise money for our prom and graduation. I don't know if anybody else remembers it, and it was mainly selling chocolate to overweight kids like me. It was called the world's finest chocolate. And may I add that this shit was a fucking scam. I hope none of y'all have ever bought from one of these school fundraiser chocolate candy kits. It came in a pack of 60 like this, and it's not like the bars were bad themselves. They were just skinny as shit. 2 bites of this bar and the entire thing was done. There was no realistic way that they thought this skinny bar was worth $1. But I mean, that didn't stop my fat ass from buying every single bar someone was selling in the hallway. And when it came time to raise money for my class, I actually got one of those kits as well, which was the worst decision of my life. Because right when I got the box of chocolate, I ate nearly half of them. I did manage to sell a lot, but I ate nearly half the box and had to pay for half of it anyways. So in conclusion, school assemblies were cool until they weren't. If they kept school assemblies fun forever, then everything would have been a-okay in this world. But there's a correlation to it because right after they stopped having fun school assemblies, everything went to shit. So that's pretty much it. Follow my TikTok and Instagram. As always, I love you guys consensually. And until next time, I'm out.